What was the biggest lie you believed? That my dad moved out and rented a room in the house of a female friend for tax reasons. When my parents divorced, I didn't even know it was happening. My dad just kind of stopped coming around. At no point was I sat down and had the situation explained to me. He didn't disappear or anything. He just stopped coming home after work and was living in a local motel for a while. I was 11 at the time. In hindsight, I'm not entirely sure why my mom didn't explain what was happening. And even 30 years later, I'm still trying to piece the story together. When I was very young, we had a pet hamster. He got out of his cage, so my dad put the cage in the basement thinking he might get hungry and get back in. One morning I woke up and there was the hamster in his cage in the usual place. I asked my mom how they found him, and she told me she opened the door to the cellar, and there he was dragging his cage back upstairs. It wasn't until I was a teenager and remembered the exchange that it occurred to me she obviously made that up. I knew a guy whose parents gave away his dog while he was at school. When he got home, they told him the dog ran away. The guy looked around and said, "He took his kennel in bed with him?" My parents did this with my cat. Went to high school, then came home briefly as I had to go right back to play in band at a high school football game at night. Came back for the night and was trying to find my cat that I'd had for 7 years and cared for, and paid for food and everything else for at that point since I could now legally work. That cat had gotten me through some hard times. Only cat I've had that would following me around outside and would greet me when I came home. Don't know why I didn't notice her not doing that when I came home briefly. Mom told me that my cat had went to a no-kill animal shelter. I asked why she did that, and the answer was, because we're moving in a few weeks and it's a long drive. It's been 20 years and I've still not forgiven them for that. Edited a bit for clarification. That acne would only be a problem when I was a teenager. Oh yes. Mine has mostly cleared up in the last 3 years though. But I'm almost 47. Had acne bad till I was in my 30s and mild till about 43. My mom told me when I was 5 and my favorite dog died that it doesn't matter that dogs die, because in 7 years they respawn. So I was like, "Oh fine, see you then, bud. I will be older and we will play again." Okay, I'm so sorry, but I can't help laughing. Respawn, Elmau. I have a memory of my mom saying something similar about my grandfather. She might have been talking about the afterlife, but my child brain was like, "Why are you burying them? How will we hear them wake up?" Edit. I'm just realizing this might be the source of my claustrophobia. On April Fool's. While I was getting ready for school on a cold winter day, my mom told me school is canceled. It's a snow day. I ran around for a good 2 minutes celebrating before she told me April Fool's. I've never felt so betrayed in my life. You better be a mastermind supervillain by now. The microwave will explode if I put my face too close to it while it's heating food. No, but it does explode if you heat the milk with the teaspoon inside. I can tell. I set one on fire. You'll figure it out when you are older. No. Life has only gotten more confusing. Wait till you are older. To be fair, when you're dead, it all gets very easy. The Tinder account was just a shared account for joking around with my friends. I never even logged in on my own. It was in fact his account which he had been using during the last 3 months of our relationship. And yes, I knew how unbelievable that sounds, but I refused to believe that the man I trusted so much would ever do this to me. My ex-husband took off with our kid and his affair partner, cut contact with me, falsely accused me of abuse to take out an emergency order against me, and tried to push through an application for sole custody with me getting occasional supervised visitation without even serving me papers first. And I still believed that it was all his girlfriend's doing, and she must have been manipulating him because there's no way the man I'd known for 7 years would ever be that cruel. Denial is a hell of a thing. When I was like 16, I found out that one of my sisters wasn't actually my sister. She was actually just best friends with my oldest sister growing up, and she lived with my family from when she was like 12 or 13 through 18. She and my oldest sister are 15 years older than me. Unfortunately, her parents wouldn't sign her over for adoption and didn't contribute anything for my mom raising her for 6 years. Weirdest part is that my family is predominantly fair-skinned, blonde with blue eyes, but the girl I thought was my sister was traditional Mexican with darker skin, dark hair, and brown eyes. My mom was always very tan and had darker hair throughout my childhood, so I thought that my other 2 sisters and myself were the odd ones out. If you go to college, you'll get a good job and have a nice house. Lying 90s third-grade teacher. Sister Agnes told me I'd be a good-for-nothing bum. God bless her honesty. You don't want to grow up to be a ditch digger, do you? They don't make any money and the work is terrible. Yeah, okay, sister. Running a loader for $30/HR with full benefits really sucks. SMH, so out of touch. Parents love their children equally and unconditionally. Now that I have 2 kids a few years apart, I think it looks like they'll each be my favorite at different times of their life. Turns out I like little kids with developed personalities more than toddlers with tantrums. Teenagers seem pretty annoying while both older kids and grown-up young adults seem pretty awesome. My kids will be in awesome and annoying phases at different times. I think it would be weird if that didn't affect how I feel about them during those different times. It's hard for me to understand the concept of not loving them unconditionally, though. I lived my entire life genuinely believing my childhood home was built by little people because the attic crawl space is unbearably low. Turns out, yeah, they were a little below average height, but not literal dwarves. Just about everyone I know has laughed at me. I really am a clown. Honk. Sorry, what? Honk. That it's not what the outside. It's what's on the inside that counts. No matter how you cut it, pretty people get better chances in life. It doesn't matter what you do if you look like Quasimodo. You can put in the most effort on a given task. They would rather swing the credit to anyone else. Yeah, same with weight. I was very skinny, gained some medication weight, and lost it again. And it's like I became invisible, and then came back. As a little kid, Dad told me that there was a Greek god of sex called fellatio. I'd never heard the word before. Then, freshman year of high school, took a mythology class and asked the teacher in class why we hadn't talked about fellatio. Silence. You know, the god of sex? I'm cringing hard just typing this out. Got a nice little talk after class and Dad almost peed his pants laughing that night. I had a fraternity brother from NY come to university in Oklahoma. This was before the internet. We told him to be careful of rattlesnakes. We explained what they were. He did not believe. So we took him to the library, pulled the encyclopedia, and showed him. He then asked, "What else can kill you in this state?" Without missing a beat, one of our brothers said, "They probably won't kill you, but you have to watch out for drop cats." He then went on to tell him how this kind of cat, 40-pounders on average, evolved to use the cat trait of landing on their feet to kill their prey. They would climb trees, hanging upside down, then drop, feet down onto their prey. Only defense? An open umbrella. This guy walked to and from every class, on sunny days, not a cloud in the sky, opening his umbrella as he walked under every tree on the campus. Lasted about 3 weeks. That people joined the army out of patriotism and love of adventure. Found that out the hardest way possible. They join because they don't know what else to do, or because they don't feel like they have a choice, or they have a hero complex. That seems like a big one. Thank me for my service.